Hi, everybody. My name is JC Walker, and I'm a current senior here at Allen High School. I've attended Allen ISD kindergarten through my senior year. I was a Marion Maverick to begin with, and then I headed to Curtis Middle School where I was a Curtis Cougar, and then I attended the old Lowry Freshman Center, and then I'm now at Allen High School. Here at Allen, I'm on the varsity tennis team, and I'm also a PAL, which is our leadership program here at Allen. I serve on the Student Leadership Council, and I'm also in clinical rotations where we get to attend the nursing home and take care of real people, real residents, which actually begins next week, which is very exciting. Overall, I love academics, and I am in AP classes, and I'm in the Phoenix program, or the Gifted and Talented program. As far as my future, I'm attending the University of Oklahoma next fall. I recently enrolled, I guess. I was accepted and admitted. So that is where my future holds, and I'm just excited for tonight. So.
Congratulations. When did you get your acceptance letter? Awesome. That's cool. Hello, my name is Cadet Colonel Ryan Suber. I'm also a senior at Allen High School. I started off as an Anderson All-Star, go All-Stars. Next, Curtis Cougar, just like JC. Loved Curtis, great school. Then I went to, of course, the old Lowry Freshman Center, and then now, like I said, I'm a senior at Allen High School. I've also been in Allen High School, or have also been in Allen ISD since I was in kindergarten. My mom used to be a fourth grade teacher at Roundtree Elementary, and I used to go up there and visit all the time, so I visited a lot of the elementary schools. Here at the high school, I've been involved in PALS, band, and I'm now the commanding officer of the JROTC program. And so I love the Allen environment. It's been great towards my family with my mom working here, and my little brother goes to Curtis, and he loves the environment. But as far as my future goes, I'm currently applying to the U.S. Naval Academy and hoping to receive a nomination and an appointment. And also applying with ROTC scholarships towards Texas A&M, the Citadel, and Embry-Riddle. So those are my future plans. But I'm also just excited for tonight and excited to hear your questions. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Priya Mandava. My family moved here when I was 3 months old, so I've been fortunate to be in Allen my entire life. I have an older sister. She's 5 years older. She graduated through Allen. I'm a current senior at Allen High School. I started as a Boone Patriot, then got to be a Cheatham Charger. I moved on to Curtis to be a Curtis Cougar, just like JC and Ryan, and then Lowry and the high school. In the high school, I'm the National Honor Society Vice President, where we established the Adopt a Grandfriend program for the class of 2020. So that's where we pair with local nursing homes and senior centers and establish a relationship with them to say we have a community and foster that engagement. I'm also the Science Honor Society President, and in that we are very focused on encouraging young kids to pursue their passions in STEM, get interested in applied learning, experimentation. I love the Allen community. I love how much spirit we have together. We're all Allen Eagles. We unite very strongly under that. So Allen's definitely a great place to be. For my future aspirations, I am hoping to become a physician. Right now, I'm looking into otology and neurotology, so I'm excited to apply to programs that are focused on that, giving me not only the foundational science that I love, but also that humanistic aspect, getting to know different personalities. So I'm very excited, and thank you for coming tonight.
I'm Erin Kim, and I moved to Allen when I was in the 3rd grade, and I started at Mary Evans, and then I went to Erickson and Old Lowry Freshman Center, and now I'm at Allen High School. And here I served as the sophomore class treasurer and the junior class president, and now I am the senior class president of Allen High School. And I am also a member of the National Math Honor Society, the Science Honor Society, and National Honor Society. And for my future aspirations, I'm going to major in business, and I still have yet to commit to college, so yeah. And I'm excited for tonight.
Hello, my name is Christopher Furch. I've been going to Allen School since kindergarten. I went to Anderson Elementary, and then I went to Curtis, and I was at the old Lowry Center, and now I'm here. I'm a senior. Currently, I'm involved with high school soccer here. I serve as captain, and I'm super stoked for the high school games. Feel free to come out Tuesday and Friday nights, Eagle Stadium. We'd love to have you guys there. I'm also part of the Palace program and Wings program, so I'm able to do one-on-one mentoring at Curtis, Ford, and last year I was at Boone. And I also go to the Lowry Freshman Center for Connections class that hopefully we can touch on a little later throughout this discussion. I'm a huge fan of that. And I'm also on the Counselor Advisory Committee. Basically, I just represent the student body and give input to the counselor program and how they can help benefit us students and just give it a voice. I'm also involved with Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and I'm also in choir. And then I think I want to go to law school. We're still a little undecided, but I think I'm like 90% there. But yeah.
Good evening. My name is Josiane Alwardi, and I am a senior as well as a diploma candidate for the International Baccalaureate program here at Allen High School. I have attended Allen schools my entire life, so that is Norton Elementary, Erickson Middle School, Lowry, and now the high school. And currently, I have dedicated my entire high school career to empowering others as well as exercising my voice, whether that be through my duties as speech president on the speech and debate team, as vice president of the youth and government team, or simply as a member of choir. I firmly believe that Allen ISD is a place for learning as well as empowerment of each and every student, and as such, I work diligently through my club Flight to tutor and empower ESL and ELL learners here at Allen ISD, as well as to help them adjust to Allen and the particular schools that they're a part of. For my future aspirations, I am planning on majoring in international relations, specifying in Middle Eastern politics, and afterwards I would like to go to law school and become an international lawyer. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, and I hope we can help you tonight. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Lauren Bradfield. I'm a junior at Allen High School. Yeah, I'm the only one. But I am a proud Ford Mustang and Chandler Cheetah alumni. I went to the old Lowry as the last class. I'm here at Allen. I'm a varsity cheerleader and a varsity track and field athlete. I serve on student leadership. I've been on student leadership at Allen for the last 3 years. And then I was also a PAL my 8th grade year at Ford. And I went from being a PAL to wing, which I hope we get to talk about it as well. But I'm very excited about tonight. I'm very passionate about helping others and making sure everyone feels like they have a place in whatever room they're in. I look forward to my future aspirations. I have a year to go, but I currently am about to take a visit actually this weekend to the Stanford University. Fear the tree. But yes, my goal is to not go for track but go academic. I am a dual credit student as well, and overall I love learning myself as well, and I look forward to hearing your questions tonight. Thank you. I definitely am when I'm nervous.
That was a great job. Let's have just a few of you. You all talked very passionately about the district, and we appreciate that. But I'd like to hear from just a couple of you about what is it that you love about Allen ISD, or you have friends in other districts. What is it that makes it unique to other places? Lauren wants to go first. All right.
Okay. I love Allen ISD. We are known to be winners, and I'm very competitive. So I feel like this is the perfect environment for me and anybody that wants to just get ahead and get that college experience before you actually go to college. Because Allen is so big and there's so many different types of students here, you get all kinds of experiences. Like before I moved to Allen in 4th grade. I had never met anybody that was Arabic, or I'd never met anybody that was Pakistani. I'd never known that there was all these other cultures and different types of people with different types of backgrounds until I moved to Allen. And I think Allen does a really good job of giving us more than enough opportunities to figure out what we want to do after Allen High School. Part of clinicals, the EMT program, and there's much more. And the course selection is out of this world. There's something for everybody here if you just look for it.
Personally, for me, I just like kind of the universality of Allen. We're really good at like being one community and coming as a whole together. I feel like a lot of districts are very kind of separate. Like Plano East will only support Plano East. Plano West will only support Plano West. But here we kind of come together as a team. like I look at Eagle Stadium and the football games and just how we all come together, and I look at how we were able, like, as you guys, for taxpayers, to pay for something as beautiful as this. Like, the Performing Arts Center is something that probably no schools in the country have, something, and this is nice. So I just kind of love, like, the one big community that Allen has. It's like, it feels like a family.
Building off of what Lauren and Chris said, it's very much about the community and the opportunities that come out of having such a united and large community. Because, like Lauren said, we do have a very diverse group of students and a diverse group of parents, teachers, all of that. And with that comes a variety of experiences that you may not get if you're in a smaller, more isolated situation. So being in that, having PTAs that are as supportive as they are, or having your crossing walk guards and you know their names, so every morning you get to say hi to them as you're going to school. Simple things like that, but the amount of spirit that we have together and the community that we have, I feel like that's very important in fostering our interest in getting out there and not only preparing ourselves for our futures and our future careers, but also our civic involvement and giving back to our community. Because when we're raised upon that foundation of you want to get involved, you want to get to know the people around you, and we're all Allen Eagles together, I know for the rest of my life I want to continue to serve the way that I've been brought up to with my parents, teachers, my friends, family, everyone.
Thank you. One of my favorite parts of the last time we met was our debrief about the conversation that the panel had for you and what your thoughts were on that. And so you had the chance last time to hear from business leaders, educational leaders, and they all said different things that jumped out at you. So would you take a moment and share for us something that you found impactful and tell us why you found it impactful?
I'll go.
JC?
So something that I found that the panel spoke about that I really agree with, which is what we've all talked about as well, is implementing internships and implementing resources that we can use to find those internships or to find those opportunities to shadow. I know Priya and I talked about, through our Phoenix class, we had an independent study project where we were able to research anything. I mean, anything from my friend built a roller coaster in her backyard. Priya and I both shadowed physicians. Some people learned how to just draw, had sketchbooks, literally anything. And so Priya and I, like I said, we both shadowed physicians. And I think both of us could say that that was one of the most impactful experiences that we have had. I got to watch 2 C-sections in an operating room. That's something that most students wouldn't think to go search out for or wouldn't look for, but that was an experience that gave me knowledge and gave me different outlooks and aspects on the career that I want to go into that were invaluable. And so I think that providing at least resources where students can find those opportunities would be very beneficial.
For me, we have a group chat, and we all told each other that one thing that resonated with us was how they said that they encourage failure, but with failure comes room for improvement. So I think that's really important, especially in a very demanding society with a bunch of expectations placed on us. It was very reassuring to hear that. And when I heard that, I got reminded of my club, Student Council. And one thing we do is we have a lot of problems that come with Student Council because there's a lot of unexpected things. And one of them is for gift exchange, we always have problems that we encounter. And with that failure, after we learn through that failure, we have an extra gift exchange. So we can use that just in case the other team forgets. And I think that really reminded me of what the panel members said last time, because with that failure we learned and we improved as the club, and I think that's really important to hear, especially in this society today.
So going off of what Aaron said, I think it's important for us to, understand that failure is something that we must deal with in our high school career. But actually going after the meeting that we had, I was very confused about what they meant by failure. It was only after my discussion with Table 19 over there that I understood that it's okay to take risks, and being a risk taker is something that you really need to allow yourself to do. So as a member of the IB community, I will be mentioning it multiple times today because I love the IB community. We're encouraged to take risks, and with that includes writing our extended essay. That includes our CAS projects and many, many other service opportunities that we're encouraged to do. So I believe that if we can help every single student in Allen ISD to understand that there are ways for them to take risks, but not just any risks, calculated risks that they can succeed from, improve from, and learn from, we will be building a better community that will encourage education and growth for everyone.
Anybody else want to share on that one? She covered it for you? Yeah. Fair enough, fair enough. So we're talking about a culture of excellence, about empowered learning, and about future-ready skills. And so my question to you is going to be, the rest of them are going to be about that. And so talk to us a little bit about the future-ready. And so what experiences have you had in Allen ISD that you believe have supported you in becoming ready for your futures? Ryan? Such the general.
With the goal of applying to the academies and doing an ROTC program, I eventually want to be an officer in the United States Marine Corps. And with becoming an officer becomes a lot of leadership and responsibility with different events like that. And so one thing I'm grateful for with PALS, band, and even JROTC is the events that I've been gracious to plan. I've planned events with over 150 students. I've planned birthday parties and all kinds of different crazy things, and especially a lot through JROTC and PALS, they really want to emphasize and grow leadership within individual students. And so one thing with PALS is the one-on-one mentorship program, that you really get to know a student and you get to learn how they think and how they feel and just get to know them as a person. And so it makes it easier for you to communicate with them. And so I took that and I translated it into JROTC. And now our JROTC program has a mentorship program where every first-year cadet is partnered with an upperclassman, and that upperclassman will talk to them every single week, and they'll work out together, and they'll hang out together on the weekends. And so that one-on-one mentorship and development and the leadership that I learned through the organizations that I chose to join will definitely benefit me in the future, especially as an officer. And so with the leadership positions that I have, learning to work with people one-on-one, the skills that I learned from PALS directly translated into my military program, and it'll translate into a military career in the future. So a lot of the groups and clubs and different small things that you learn throughout Allen ISD will actually translate even into military careers. So that helps me with future-ready skills.
There's 3 points that I think Allen excels at and is continuing to grow with. The first one is, JC discussed it, having an independent study project, or there's opportunities to seek experiences where you're applying what you're learning in the classroom and the didactic learning environment outside of the classroom as well, because I feel like those experiences are the things that allow you to see, is this how I want to contribute to society? Is this the impact that I can see myself making for the next 50, 60 years to come? And so whether it was shadowing physicians the way we were able to do, or this past summer I was able to do research at UT Southwestern, and that came through doing science fairs and different things at Allen since I was in elementary school. Whether it's that, no matter what, I was able to find the environment that I felt I could best thrive in and I could best serve my community in. So I think that Allen's very good at fostering those internship and experiential learning opportunities, and we're continuing to grow and develop those for our students. Another thing is leadership, whether it is through National Honor Society, Science Honor Society, even just in the classroom, it's taking the opportunity to have a voice. Being up here on the student panel, so fortunate because we're able to represent our peers and our own opinions and saying this is how we've grown, this is how we want to continue to grow and help the future students of Allen. So the leadership opportunities of getting to interact with different people, facilitate different programs, integrate ourselves with the community, that's something that I know I will carry forward for the rest of my life, and I believe every student benefits from those opportunities that we have. The last one, and I've definitely seen it the more I've gotten older and benefited from it greatly, is the emphasis we're putting at an early age of inciting a passion for whatever it is you're interested in, whether that is STEM or the arts, JROTC, the military, whatever you're interested in pursuing, we're fostering that early. And it started, one of the big things is the 7th grade Duke Tip Talent Search program. I remember that from Curtis Middle School alone. We had so many kids who got involved in it my year and who were so excited to be that national recognition and that fostered. And this year at Allen High School, I'm fortunate to be one of the 38 National Merit semifinalists, and that's the most Allen's had ever in our history, and that's just a testament to how much we've grown and how much our teachers and parents and students are committed to making sure that growth prospers and we're able to proliferate it throughout the generations. So I think those three things, the experiential learning opportunities, leadership opportunities, and that focus in cultivating an environment in which students feel comfortable in pursuing their passion and applying it to whatever they want to do, prospering their academics, those are things that I love seeing in Allen and are contributing to what we're speaking about here tonight.
One of my favorite things about going to Allen is the amount of privilege periods we get and like the different campuses we're able to go to. So, and what I mean by that is, like, for instance, my schedule today, pretty much I started off here at the main high school and I went to English. Then I went over to the Lowry Freshman Center for connections. Then after that, I went to the athletic facility for soccer. Came back to the main campus for lunch. Then I drove to the STEAM Center and had my last class of the day. I had physics there. And the reason I like this is because it's kind of how college is going to be like. Like, for example, we may have a class from 9 a.m. to 10:30 in one building, then have an hour and a half break to eat lunch and do homework, then go to our next class half a mile away from the other campus. So I really like how it kind of correlates a lot, and it kind of prepares us for college and the schedule that we're going to have.
Okay. What I think Allen does a really good job of is having leaders that are not just students, but they're leaders outside of just being students. And what I mean by that is that through PALS and Wings, which I get to talk about now, is that we get to not only be leaders for ourselves, but we get to be leaders for freshmen, for the elementary schools, for the middle school kids. Through Wings, we actually, like Chris said, we had connections today. And so that means we go over to the freshman center and we have a class, kind of like how the teacher-student classroom is. And we sit up and teach a lesson to a group of freshmen about either, it was time management today, we talk about responsibility, that tutoring isn't a bad thing, how to utilize your time wisely, just different things that I wish as a freshman someone would have came to me that was not just a teacher, but that was maybe a year or two older than me. It came and said, hey, it's cool to go to tutoring, or hey, it's cool to be involved in school, because I would have taken it more to heart and it would have made my freshman year maybe just a little bit easier. So I think we do a really good job at having something for everyone, no matter what it is, especially with PALS. PALS, they go everywhere. They do from Red Ribbon Week to, what was it y'all just did? It was like pep rallies. Like, they are, PALS and Wings, they are just the forefront of the schools along with National Honor Society, and they make sure that everyone knows that these are the faces of Allen High School, but you can be there too. And so I feel like with these programs, when you step outside of Allen High School, you are more than ready to be a leader in college, in the workforce, or in the military, because you have the firsthand knowledge. If you can lead somebody in a class of 4,000 kids, you know what I'm saying, at a school this big, who says you can't go do it at the next level?
Who else is in PALS and Wings? There's some questions up there about it. So JC, Ryan, Chris, so if you guys, there's another question on there that kind of ties into this, and so I'm going to try to formulate one for you, but there's a question up there about how would you encourage middle school students to get involved? Like, you guys are all really actively engaged, and that kind of came inherently for you guys. But what about those students that don't just jump out and get involved? And so talk about how you're using Wings and PALS to address that through connections and other ways.
One thing that I'll say about that, this is actually my first year I'm doing connections, so mentoring freshmen. I've been a PALS since my 8th grade year. So PALS focus mainly on mentoring one-on-one elementary students. And so we focus kindergarten to 6th grade, and then we also go to the middle schools for 7th and 8th graders. But like I said, this is my first year going to do connections with the freshmen. And just for example, I have a girl in my connections class this year who, she is just so passionate, and she didn't really seem like she was involved in a lot of things at the beginning of the year, and we're not even 9 weeks in yet. And she talks about going to football games, and it's Jalen, she's in ROTC. Yes, and so she, yes, I was going to say Ryan knows her. Well, she comes to me every single time in connections and just loves the environment at football games. She loves getting involved, and that's just her as a freshman. And it's so, I think that part of that comes from the conversations we have in connections, where at the end of every class we say, your football game is on Thursday night. Y'all go to your freshman game, or your game's on Friday. Come to the Allen game. This is the student section theme. You guys should come, support, get loud, get crazy. And I think that just those conversations alone have impacted so many students. I mean, I've seen so many of my connection students at football games, and I just think that those conversations that we have with them have really impacted them to just try it out, see what it's like to go to a football game, see what it's like to get involved.
I'd have to say that the forefront of my year, so I was a wing, I was a PAL my 8th grade and my 9th grade year, and then when they started wings last year, I was a wing, and now I'm a wing now as well. So I would definitely say the highlight of my first year at Wings was when one of my students in my class, well, not one of my students, but one of my peers, she ended up applying for the Wings program, and she's actually a wing mentor this year as a sophomore. So it really made an impact to me to see that, you may not be actively engaged every single time I'm coming in here, or you may not appreciate me every single time I come in here, but to see the long-term effect of how you guys get engaged and you guys ask questions and you guys even seeing them down the hall when I see some of my connection kids, I'm like, hey, I saw you last year. And they're like, hey, Lauren. And they remember my name, just as simple as that, from seeing that I'd made some type of impact in their life and that I wasn't just there to just be there. And so that I would definitely say that the Wings program does a really good job about making being part of Allen High School fun. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen our student section. But we have the best student section in Texas, and that just goes to show that the student involvement, once one person follows through and everyone else follows behind, it kind of just bands together this community of a student section like that. So I'm very fortunate that Allen gives us that opportunity.
Thank you. So you and Chris talked about it. Chris has connections class over there, so you guys have seen the demolition of the old freshman center, as y'all will forever call it, the old freshman center. You have classes over at the STEAM Center. You've seen a partial renovation of the high school, and with that, you've seen the creation of new spaces. You've seen introduction of new technologies for both students and staff. And so talk to us about how you feel like that's impacted your learning and impacted you or prepared you for what lies ahead.
Okay, so I, as speech president on the speech and debate team, I have to commute between Allen and Lowry Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and occasionally Fridays. So with that, Lowry, I don't know if you guys know this, but the debate team is based at Lowry. That's where the speech and debate class is taught. So there at the old freshman center, we had to deal with one classroom, very small, 5 computers, and that was essentially how we would have to teach 30 to 40 kids how to debate. A lot of arguments in one small room. But now with the expanded Lowry, we have these collaboration spaces that we can go to. So we'd have our Lincoln Douglas team in one area, our policy debaters in one area, our PF debaters in one area, speech kids in one area. And we'd be able to really break down the topics, the arguments that we need to make, and really help each and every student to succeed. I am a huge fan of the collaboration spaces. I have one outside of my IB psychology room. It's just a nice, aesthetically pleasing place. I think JC or one of you guys said it. It's just so nice to look at, and to know that it's not just a school for rigorous academic growth. It's also a community where I could just, go sit on a sofa, read a book, study for my next exam. So I really like these renovations.
I also think I'm kind of expanding, I really do love the collab spaces, and one of the reasons too is a lot of these kids that come to Allen, we have no idea what's going on at home. They could be struggling with any form of harassment, abuse, and I think it's a really good place. They may not be able to do their homework at home if they're struggling with that at home and they just have a bad home life. It's nice that they can have these collaborative spaces or these this awesome library that we have at Allen and at Lowry to do their homework and get work done. And I think it's an awesome place.
At Allen, so in the library, our library not only has 2 stories, but they have an upstairs quiet room that is the best place to concentrate and do your homework ever. I sat there, I didn't go upstairs, but I went downstairs where there was computers and you work around. There's different collaboration spaces and books and stuff. And I sat down and did a PowerPoint presentation and an essay in one privilege period because I could hone in and I could concentrate and still collaborate with everyone around me. Just because it may be good time management, but also because I had the resources to do so. And that's why I feel our library does a really good job. You can check out laptops, you can check out iPads, you can check out textbooks, whatever you need. It's in that one location that is, and calculators. And so, and then the upstairs they sometimes have peer tutoring, and then is it like tutoring with the teachers? That is, each day is a different subject for every single off period, just about every single off period. So there's like no excuse not to get that extra help that you need, even if you don't want to go into tutoring before or after school. And so I feel like the resources that Alan gives us is like out of this world. Even in F Hall, I love my F Hall class because like they said, it's very aesthetically pleasing. There is not laptops, there is TVs around the like the classroom, so that you aren't just looking at the board in the front, but you can look at the TV on the side, the TV in the back, and there's not even smart boards anymore, there's projectors. It may sound a little old-fashioned, but they actually are very big, and they are very big, and so there's like no reason for you to not be able to see the board and not know what's going on. And then as well as like the technology that we have here in Allen, but from the different types of laptops to the iPads, there's just no reason for you not to be connected and still have that technology resource that you need to stay ahead.
Who knew what a videotape was, out of curiosity?
I did. Everybody.
Sorry, Ms. Bullock. What skills do you believe are most crucial to ensuring that you are prepared for your future? So you heard that panel talk the last time about future-ready skills and what they believe and what they're looking for in future applicants. What skills do you believe are most important for your future?
I'd like to begin by saying that with the IB program, we had to write a 4,000-word essay. So mine was, to what extent did the Ba'ath Party influence the regimes of Saddam Hussein and Hafez al-Assad in Iraq and Syria? May sound extremely boring to you, fascinating to me. I have
say that 5 times fast.
Fascinating. So I have friends who wrote over a plethora of topics ranging from chemistry, physics, math, history, English papers. But one thing that we had, like one resource that we had available to us, was the databases provided to us by the library. And so with that, we were essentially able to research to our heart's content over these topics that we're extremely passionate about. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but it's very frustrating to find a manuscript that is banned in the United States. So I had to go through a bunch of loopholes, go through a bunch of databases until I finally found something that would shed light to my topic. So that's because that's the Ba'ath Party band. Okay, anyways, so with writing this extended essay, we really had to hone in on our time management skills, our researching skills, and then lastly, our presentation skills. So we also had to give a 5 to 10 minute presentation over our particular topic, and you know, if you were me, you went over to like 20 to 30 minutes. But with the IB program, we're really trained to be comfortable speaking in front of others and researching. So I think those are really important skills for the future that we are prepared for.
The ones that resonated with me, and we discussed it, that they discussed on the panel last time, was civic engagement, adaptability, and knowing how to learn. Because rather than focusing and honing in on the specificity of actual subjects or foundations, which of course are extremely important, developing the skills from an early age of knowing how to learn no matter what environment you're in, so being adaptable and flexible wherever you're placed, that carries you through not only when you're in your primary, secondary education, but whether you're entering the workforce, further education, the military, regardless of what environment you're in, at the speed that we're changing as a society, adaptability is extremely important. Knowing how to learn allows you and enables you where no matter what position you're in, you're able to apply the skills that you can acquire to take advantage and support your community. And then civic engagement allows you to get involved and give back. So those 3 definitely speak out to me.
I think one skill that's really important for the future is knowing yourself. And what I mean by that is there's so many different types of learning, like either by hands-on experience or just visibly seeing it. And I didn't understand the importance of that when I was in a freshman or sophomore level. But during my junior year and senior year, I finally realized how I learn the best and what environment I thrive in. And after I figured out how I do the best in, that's when I really started thriving. And I think knowing that from the start would have really helped me. And that's not really something that you hear a lot. I know teachers like encourage it, but like for real, knowing that is like so helpful.
You guys have said a lot of amazing things about the district and about the school, and certainly appreciate that. But no organization is perfect. And so what are the things that we can do better?
Okay, so I would have to say that something that has made me thrive in Allen High School, and just not just Allen High School, but through my career at Allen, my educational career at Allen, is the fact that every just about building, I would say, I've learned in from elementary school, middle school to high school, I've had at least one teacher who I could say was my mentor, or someone that no matter what, whether it's something small or something big, I could go to and just, let it all out. And they would listen and they would care for what I had to say. And they just made sure that I knew I wasn't alone in this, because it's very easy to feel alone in high school if you don't have the right people around you. So I feel like Allen has done a good job about that if you look for it. It depends on the student, I feel. If you don't connect with a teacher on that level, you'll never understand that relationship that you can have with that teacher. And so I feel like Allen, I just feel like we should have more of an emphasis on that teacher-student relationship and that mentorship kind of, because we see these teachers, 180 days or more? And so I feel like if you have like that one teacher, no matter if it's on an A day or on a B day or every day, that you can go to and you feel like you have a safe space to talk to about anything, and of course counselors, y'all are great. I just feel like a teacher, you see them way more often, to where you having them in your back pocket, it could be the best thing for you.
One thing that I think Allen could work on is promoting the smaller clubs at Allen High School, because from student council, I really found my passion in business, because we do a lot of business aspects in student council as well. And I really regret not finding like a club that really suited me at freshman year. And so if we promote, I know we do a lot better job doing it now, because we have like posters everywhere with like the list of all the clubs. But if I were to like pursue that earlier, it would have really helped me find what I enjoy, because a lot of people right now, especially as seniors, struggle with like what they want to do in the future. So having that passion, finding that passion in high school would have really helped.
I think one con about Allen is just how big it is. And I understand that's something we really can't control, but I think the main thing is just being able to find ways to communicate to these kids of the amazing programs we have at Allen. Like, for example, we have career night every couple months. I had no idea there was a career night until my junior year. So I think I think we could, if you can find ways to better communicate that and better facilitate that and get that message out there to especially freshmen and sophomores, I think that'd be a really good way to improve Allen.
I think there's two things. One, we've definitely made big strides on, and we've talked about it tonight, that independent study project. Having either like a senior class project you have to do as a senior and dedicate time to, independent project, or even just facilitating more internships. I do believe that internships, that experiential learning opportunity, that fosters such like a passion or love for what you're gonna do beyond just the classroom. And it's applying what you've learned in the classroom and all that foundation that you've built outside. So again, this past summer, I did research at UT Southwestern during the day, and then at night, I shadowed at Parkland, which is one of Dallas's 4 trauma centers. And to actually see what it's like to be in that environment, see how different physicians are interacting, see how different researchers are interacting, being a summer intern, conducting my own research, setting my own parameters, working with other researchers with the constrictions of time and budget and all of that, and applying the chemistry and math and science and humanities skills I've learned in a real workplace environment, I feel like you can't put a value on that, and that helped me determine my passion for what I want to do with my future. So fostering those internship opportunities, making them available to students and making them more noticeable. And I know that we have a college and career center, which we're so fortunate to have, having a CTE center where we have classes in culinary arts. We have the Blues restaurant where students actually get to work, serve, have hospitality classes, animation. We have so much here. And making that available to students who might not be as forward about going out and seeking those opportunities. I think as a whole, Allen could really benefit from that. And the second thing is we talked about on the panel last meeting, we mentioned it today, there is that fear factor that we have, and Aaron said like that social pressure that we feel sometimes. And Allen's phenomenal about saying, and as I'm applying to college, as you see, it's a lot about who you are as a whole person. That's actually one of our committees here, the whole child. It's not just the number or the experiences or how you look or anything, any one singular event that defines you. It's a congregation of everything and all the experiences you've had. But I feel like at times we feel lost in the numbers and that idea of GPA and rank and assigning to certain classes they have a higher weightage as opposed to classes that are maybe altered more towards your career, CTE. If you want to do culinary arts, if you want to do animation, any of that, they're weighted lower quantitatively, and I feel that deters people from pursuing their passion because we're caught up in the idea that if numbers didn't matter, we wouldn't have a scale like that. So having the number there means it has a value, and of course it does, and there is a lot of benefit in encouraging students to challenge themselves and push themselves forward. I just feel like at times that number scale is pushing kids away from pursuing their passion and deterring them from saying, I want to take that because it won't look as good for the future and I might be at a loss or a disadvantage because I'm doing this instead. So it's finding the balance of, yes, we need to make sure we're challenging kids, and Alan's phenomenal about challenging us to push our boundaries, expand our interests, seek different opportunities. And I understand the number scale with that. I feel there is a way we need to bring out that it's okay to pursue your passion and there's not a consequence or deterrence for being able to do what you love or experience different things just because they don't have that 5.0 associated with it.
I don't know if y'all heard. You know I want to come hug you, Priya. So I don't know if y'all heard what the room went when you said that. So I want some others to share with us your thoughts about the impact of that number as opposed to your learning. What's it do for your teachers? What's it do for you? Go on from it, Ryan.
I would like to say I very much so agree with what Priya said. Just the basis of what my schedule is. So in the morning, I go to track practice at 7 a.m. And then I have, on A days, I have my wings class, cheer, my dual credit history class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I have 8th off. And then on my B day, I have 7 a.m. track practice, pre-cal, physics, my dual credit English class on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then my 8th off again. And because I take dual credit classes, my GPA isn't weighted the same as someone that takes an AP or an IB class. Yeah, I put in basically about the same amount of work and the same amount of effort, and I'm as engaged in learning, and I care as much about the subject as they do. But I feel like putting a number to a subject does not put a value to what the child's learning. So you can put a number to anybody's course or whatever class they're taking, but if they're taking the class just for the GPA, are they really getting anything out of it? No. So they're taking the class but not retaining the information versus taking a dual credit class that's going to give them real college experience, and maybe that's the subject that they're very engaged in, but they're not going to get the same amount of credit because they're not taking the same titled class. And so I feel like that kind of, when it comes to class ranking, everyone's class ranking is, it's going to look good on the college application, I get to have the competitiveness, but your class ranking says you take 5 AP classes with 1 off period, and then you have maybe 1 art class. But my GPA says I have track practice at 7 a.m. in the morning. I have a full course load except for 1 off period, and then I'm cheering on Friday nights. So it's not weighted the same, but it's still weighted. And so I feel like that takes from the experience, because that adds that pressure to, if I'm not in the top 20% of my class, then, what are colleges going to think, or what's this school going to think? And so I feel like it's very kind of a disservice to put a number on a child's education, because at the end of the day, it's that child's education. And for me, if I want to take a AP physics psychology class, which is what I wanted to take this year, I would have to sacrifice either not cheering, not running track, or not mentoring. So I feel like also that's also part of, that weighted GPA aspect of it. So if I wanted to take this 5.0 class to help boost my GPA, I couldn't because I'm taking this 4.0 class that I feel like I'm gaining more valuable life experience and that's growing me as a person. So I feel like those classes like culinary arts, leadership classes, they should be weighted at the same, if not weighted at all, because I feel like you're gaining more life experience and more personal experience than you are from just taking some AP class that you don't even care for. Thank you.
As far as the numbers go, Allen is terrible. We have a lot of people. You should, with the tours that are going on, go to Allen High School. Just stand upstairs during passing period. It's a nightmare. But as far as numbers go, Allen is the best school district. It's an oxymoron, but it's impossible to get to your classes in the hallway. Sometimes 5 minutes is not enough. But with one of the interviews that I did recently, it was with 2 Marine Corps officers for a scholarship that I'm applying for. And so as they were writing down, taking notes, and of course they're trained to not show emotion, and so they weren't really saying much as I was listing off my resume and things I had done. And so they asked me my class rank, and I provided them with a number. And they're like, oh, okay, wrote it down and continued. And so they go, out of how many? And so once I gave that I'm a class of 1638, they dropped their pen. They just gasped. And they're like, no way. And so another thing I had a chance to attend recently was the Naval Academy Summer Seminar, where I got to live at the Naval Academy for a week. Incredible, by the way. And so I met people from all 50 states in the country had a list, and we tried to meet someone from every state. It was so much fun. And so as I was meeting people and talking to people at the airport and just getting to know people around the country, I met a girl from Alaska, and her graduating class is 7. I met someone from Tennessee, and his graduating class was 17. And so just the competitive environment. And so for me, it's just school. I just go to school, I do my classes. Sure, we have a big class number, but when you take a step back and you look at around the nation and for different people applying for scholarships and job opportunities and things like that, when they look and they see that you can be a PAL or a wing or a student leader within a class of 1638 or however many it is, if you can obtain leadership and you can stay academically competitive and you can have a job and have different careers and do different clubs and organizations and do all these different things, like Lauren does 7 things in one day. It's insane. But when you can do that in a competitive environment of so many people and still put that number on a resume and go to your interview and say, hi, I'm a person and I do this and this and this, and I'm just as busy as the next guy, but the number isn't who I am. The grade point average isn't who I am. And when you can commit yourself to a whole child concept and then have that number just as an add-in bonus, it is one of the most incredible things towards preparing for your future.
Everything that has been said up here is so true, and every time somebody talks, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, I agree, yes, that is exactly what I think. I know personally this year for me, it is so difficult to keep your cool, to not get stressed when you're in such an academically competitive environment. And I know many of us up here can speak, we're in those AP classes, we're in those environments that is so stressful and so rigorous. But for example, this year, I was extremely stressed about just the classes I was taking. I mean, I'm in 2 4.0 classes, just like Lauren. I mean, I'm in tennis, I'm in PALS, and those are both 4.0s. And I was sitting with my counselor, just stressed, on the verge of tears, talking about how, my rank is not going to be as good as I think it could be because I'm in these 4.0s. It's penalizing me. And she was like, JC, she said, look at the whole picture. She said, what have you gained out of the classes that you've chosen to take? What have you been doing on a Tuesday night when you're out on the court fighting for your teammates, when you're playing in a tennis match? You're learning how to work on a team. You're learning invaluable skills when somebody else was in their room in a textbook. What have you learned? Yep. And that just resonated with me, and that was something that really just fall on my shoulders, like, okay, like, you're right. Like, when I go to college, I mean, many of these AP students, they're fantastic kids. They're smart. They're intelligent. They're going to be world changers. But the skills I've learned are different than the skills they have learned. And it's through personal interaction. It's through those things. And so in that aspect, it's okay that maybe our ranks aren't as good as they could be, because the skills that we have gained to sit up here on a student panel and to speak like this, I mean, the things that we're talking about, those were gained through those sacrifices of not having as high of a rank or not doing the things that we wanted to do or be as high as we wanted to because we chose these other skills.
Yep.
Yes.
Now that you're all fired up, here's the last question. You have a captive audience, a room full of adults that are together to help set the future for Allen ISD. And so my question to you is, what do you want to say to them? What do they need to know?
Or just three of us.
Whoever wants to go. Lauren, it's not class. It's not one at a time.
I want to go.
First, thank you for taking the time out of your evenings to do this, for wanting to come and do it. I'm like, all of us up here, we love to try and represent our community and serve it. And that's founded off of how we've been raised and the foundation we've been raised upon. And a lot of that is to y'all. So first, round of applause for that. Thank y'all. But beyond that, a lot of this committee, what we're all gathered here to do tonight, what we just talked about pretty passionately, and throughout the entire night, is none of us would diss the advantages of taking advanced classes, challenging classes. I think the biggest thing is no student should ever be defined by a number or by a single event. It's a congregation of everything that we do, all the experiences that we have. So what we learn in the classroom, our interactions with the teacher, like Lauren said, going out and learning different things, going to the Naval Academy and spending a week there like Ryan did, meeting people from all 50 states, being in student council, being a wing or a PAL, being on the tennis team. All of these give so many different skills, and none of them should ever be considered a sacrifice. You're not ever sacrificing something in order to do what you're passionate about, because if you're pursuing your passion, it's not a sacrifice. There's priorities, and there's things that we need to learn, that some things need to take precedence over others, and that we know is going to continue through the rest of life. But I think the biggest thing is a number is not what defines any of us. A single event is not what defines any of us. It's all the experiences that we can make available to students and the future students, and showing them that getting involved in your community, pursuing those leadership opportunities, standing up for what you're passionate about, all of that is what defines who you are. So thank y'all for coming out tonight to talk about that.
So one thing I want to say is, for us to teachers and our parents, and to the teachers and parents to the students, I think we should all ask each other how we're doing, because emotional stability is so important nowadays. And the one thing that I appreciate the most in high school is having my teachers ask me just like, how's your day going, or how are you doing? And it's so small, but like hearing that makes me feel like I'm so like cared about, especially because I'm so stressed nowadays. And I know a lot of seniors and juniors or sophomores can relate too. And if we just all ask each other how we're doing and how our day's going, we can all just foster an environment of like caring. And yes.
Well, as a proud principal, on behalf of other what I am certain are proud principals in this room, and proud teachers, and certainly very, very proud parents, thank you guys very much for sharing with us this evening.